Welcome to Buy Local TV, where we're promoting Michigan businesses, communities, and its people. Frank, what's on the show today?
Well, Dwayne, we're going to talk about lighthouses, and there are so many lighthouses in Michigan. Do you have any guesses on how many we have here? Well, we're going to find out in this episode.
We're going to go from the shores of Lake Superior to Lake Michigan to Lake Huron and take a look at what this great state has to offer. Beautiful lighthouses in the state of Michigan.
The state of Michigan is surrounded by four of the Great Lakes, and thus, providing just many avenues and paths for shipping. And of course, that tremendous amount of shipping around the four Great Lakes that created the need for marking the dangerous areas or marking river entrances into parts of the state. And Michigan, by the way, is the state with the most lighthouses in the United States. Many people think of Maine first if asked that question, but Michigan with well over 120 some lights.
The original Copper Harbor light structure was a 65-foot whitewashed stone tower which was serviced by the completely separate stone dwelling where lightkeepers and their families lived. The original stone tower no longer exists, but the old lightkeeper's dwelling remains and now serves as a lighthouse museum. The red brick Eagle Harbor Light Station sits on the rocky entrance of the harbor and is a working lighthouse as it guides mariners across the northern edge of the Keweenaw Peninsula. The original lighthouse, built in 1851, was replaced in 1871. The lighthouse was manned by a head keeper and two assistant keepers. In 1999, the Congress of the United States transferred ownership of the Eagle Harbor Light Station to the Historical Society. The Coast Guard continues to operate the light on top of the tower. You cannot go up into the tower since it's still an operating navigational light, but you may visit the rest of the lighthouse compound. There are actually three lights that mark the channel connecting Lake Michigan to Lake Muskegon. The oldest of the three is the 1903 tower that stands at the end of the pier, extending into Lake Michigan from the south side of the channel. The other two lights are stationed at the end of the north and south breakwaters, which now provide greater protection for the entrance to the channel. The keeper's dwelling associated with the lights was torn down in the early 1970s to make way for the new Coast Guard station.
Hi, my name is Lisa Drummond. I work at the Grand Traverse Lighthouse, right at the very tip of the Leelanau Peninsula. This lighthouse has been here since 1858. It was built to guard the Manitou Passage, which is treacherous water and has had many wrecks. The light can be seen, I believe, 17 miles out. And it was active until 1972 when the Coast Guard decommissioned it and put up an automated light on a steel pole. So far this year we've had visitors from virtually every state, all over the world. About 100,000 people a year come all the way out here and visit us. Go on our website, www.grandtraverselighthouse.com, and there's all kinds of contact information there. We also run a keepers program, so you can actually come out here and live for a week at a time and keep the light.
While the Alpena light may not be your typical lighthouse, it does meet the criteria to be called one. Located at the mouth of the Thunder Bay River, this 80-foot skeletal tower is best viewed from the docks of the city of Alpena's marina. Called Sputnik because it resembles the Russian space satellite and Little Red by the locals, it is said this oft-dismissed light is long on duty, short on beauty. Believed to be the only lighthouse of its type in the U.S., the station was built of wood in 1877, rebuilt of wood in 1888, and finally constructed of steel in 1914. The Thunder Bay Island Lighthouse was constructed in 1832 and is one of the oldest light stations on Lake Huron. It was built to warn mariners of the dangerous reefs extending out from the island. The lighthouse at Grand Haven is a spot for locals and tourists alike. Because of the importance of the Grand Haven Harbor, the lighthouse was built here as early as 1839. The entrance to the Grand River was originally marked by a tower near the south side of the entrance of the river. This lighthouse was destroyed in a storm on the night of December 17, 1852. A second lighthouse was built in 1855 on the bluff overlooking the river. When the pier lights were finished in 1905, the light on the hill was extinguished. In 1922, the end of the South Pier was rebuilt with a concrete pierhead. The old original foghorn house, built in 1875 and still in use today, was placed on the new pierhead and equipped with a state-of-the-art foghorn. Just off the beaten path of Mackinaw, you'll find McGulpin Point Lighthouse, and it went into service in 1869, marking the southwestern side of the entrance of the Straits of Mackinaw. In 1892, a lighthouse was built on Mackinaw Point just 2 miles east of the lighthouse. The McGulpin Point Lighthouse thus became redundant and was retired in 1906 after just 37 years of service. The old Mackinaw Point Lighthouse was built in 1892 and was shut down in 1957 when they no longer needed the lighthouse because they built the Mackinaw Bridge. The light was about 50 feet high and the Mackinaw Bridge was 552 feet high.
So where the keeper came up every evening, he'd light the lens, which is no more than a kerosene lantern with a red globe on it, and then he'd put it inside the big Fresnel lens, which weighs about 500 pounds, and you can see it up to 16 miles on the Straits with only using 2 ounces of kerosene an hour.
Wow.
And because of all the hazards and shoals and reefs and ice and fog and other hazards on the Straits, we have about 85 shipwrecks out here.
Oh.
And you can dive down to all of them in the nice warm 40-degree water.
Let's cross the bridge to St. Ignace. The Wawatam Light is the newest in the Straits and has enhanced the appearance of the St. Ignace Harbor while providing a beacon to Lake Huron traffic, especially the ferries running back and forth to Mackinaw Island. It was given to the city by the Michigan Transportation Department. It was reassembled at the dock in St. Ignace and serves as a guide for the city marina. The light went into service on August 20th, 2006. Don't let the sign scare you off. It is a small hike to this lighthouse. You'll meet nice people along the way, or you could even ride your bike. The trip is worth it.
My name's Randy Hempstead. I'm actually one of the many volunteer keepers here at Big Sable Point, and I'm from the state of Minnesota. And my job, along with my wife and a couple of other couples, are to actually maintain the property here, but more importantly, meet with the guests, showing them the property, which is downstairs. We're up top on the tower now, and give guests an opportunity to view the beautiful sights here out on Big Sable Point. Well, this light was built originally in 1867, and lights in general are meant to indicate that there's danger in the area or simply marking an inlet. And in this particular case, there's Big Sable Point is involved with many very, very big sandbars, creating issues for the shipping industry, which began as logging, an awful lot of logging industry through the area here. And its primary purpose was to mark this point for them to avoid the sandbars.
The North Breakwater Lighthouse is Ludington's focal point. The lighthouse was automated in 1972. In 1994, the crib on which the lighthouse sits settled, and the tower tilted 4 degrees to the northeast. Cost to repair it was considered excessive, so the Army Corps of Engineers decided it was safe and to leave it as is. Looking at the North Breakwater Lighthouse today, the tilt can still be seen.
My name's Tom Abdelnour. I'm from Ann Arbor, Michigan, and I'm up here at Little Sable Point Lighthouse for a week as a volunteer. Back in the 1870s, there was a big fire in Chicago, and after that was over, they decided to rebuild Chicago with a vengeance, and they needed lumber. So the closest place for lumber was Michigan, and that spurred the the trade of coming to Michigan and logging a lot of the softwoods and hardwoods that we had here. Now this little Sable Point is the furthest west point in the state of Michigan, and in 1873, I believe it was, the funds were granted to come to Michigan and build a lighthouse.
This is 12 feet of a mixture of brick and sand and wood, all basket woven together, and then these are 30-foot pilings that are down there. This is all original, and this is dated up here 1873.
So in the spring of 73, a big ship came right out here and anchored, and then they started to bring all the materials for this lighthouse ashore, and that included all the brick, all the steel, all the mechanisms, all the lights and lenses that were associated with the lighthouse. And at the end of the season in October, they had to pack back up and leave for the winter, and they came back the following spring, in the spring of 1874, and finished the lighthouse. I think that Michigan's the greatest state in the Union, and I really love it here, especially in the summer. The water's gorgeous, and you can just see all the wonderful things that are happening out on the lake.
Well, Dwayne, that just proves to me once again that we have a beautiful state, and there's so many great lighthouses in Michigan. I couldn't believe how many we have here.
And we just touched on a few, and I think we might continue with that. Give us your opinion. Let us know if you want to see more on the lighthouse side. Follow us on Facebook. That way we can stay in touch with people. And remember, we're Buy Local TV, where we're promoting Michigan businesses, communities, and its people. We'll see you next time. Welcome to Buy Local TV, where we're... Are you comfortable now?
Sorry.
That's fine.
I had my phone out and I was like, what do I do with it? Okay, go ahead.
Show you some of these beautiful lighthouses in the great state of Michigan.
Wow.
Your timing's perfect. Welcome to Buy Local TV.
Hello? Sorry, I can't talk right now.